internet and World Wide Web were the most consequential developments of the 20th century and almost certainly ever. But that shouldn't be an especially shocking statement at all. They have led to an effectively infinite amount of information sitting right on our fingertips, instant communication across seas, countless new industries, and, less often stated, an information overload that has changed the way we think at a record pace. Incredibly influential people have been wary for millennia about emerging mediums of thought leading to our mind atrophy, such that 2,400 years ago Socrates feared that the advent of writing would lead to the degradation of human memory, as humans would rely more on the written word to store information than their own brains. Humans would become merely hearers of information, recognizing and consuming, but not truly absorbing the totality of information in a given text. Of course, this claim has not really stood the test of time, as today it is well established that physically writing something down allows people to better synthesize information. The written word has helped us crystallize and build upon complex scientific, political, and philosophical concepts generation by generation. It has allowed for humans to communicate their ideas on a large scale, and doesn't seem at all to decrease one's comprehension. The printing press and books were invented, and people's memories remained intact. More topical mediums such as the newspaper and magazine came to be, and people's memory and comprehension, yet again, stayed intact. But the internet, unlike the other mediums of thought, has limitless information available at virtually no cost, and remains unfazed in shaping how we process information and direct our focus. Unlike books, magazines, or newspapers, the internet is so deeply intertwined with how we communicate with one another on a daily basis. By endlessly switching from notification to post to hyperlink to game to message to shopping to video to email to another notification, we are becoming skimmers more than ever, looking for immediate information and moving on to whatever catches our glance next. We are scatterbrained, with each open email, text, video, and article occupying a place in our finite minds. We are juggling more information than we can handle in our working memories, inhibiting our brain's ability to focus and engage in higher level thought. When a mind is as scattered as a Lil Uzi Vert song moving from one sensory input to the next, how will it meaningfully process information and engage in deliberative, methodical, rational, long-term thinking? After all, critical thinking requires retrieving long-term memory, which in turn, according to Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist Eric Kandel, requires information to be deeply processed and associated with knowledge already embedded in memory. Hastily skimming through content is perhaps the polar opposite of deeply processing information, and today, our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. SimilarWeb's 2020 State of Digital report indicated that the average visit duration to websites dropped a staggering 49 seconds from 2017 to 2019 alone, mainly attributed to the rise of mobile media consumption. With shorter visit durations from consumers, websites are incentivized to publish troves of short-form, sensationalized content, rather than carefully researched articles inspiring careful thought, to keep up with and maintain our winnowing collective attention. When the focal business rationale of big technology companies that have some of the most intelligent people working for them is to monopolize our attention on their website or app for as long as possible with captivating short-term content so other businesses can target an advertisement at us, it suddenly becomes evident why our political discourse is becoming increasingly shallow, unnuanced, and fickle. Judging by how long the average person spends online, which is honestly too depressing for me to say out loud, our attention is certainly being kept by the screens and big tech. It's just concentrated towards loud, entertaining, and extreme content. Cancel culture, defund the police, oh my god, Ben Shapiro smacks down and destroys, crushes, Black Lives Matter, atheists, gender studies, snowflake socialists. Everyone that disagrees with you is just extreme. I mean, just look at the title of these articles that I found on Facebook. The sensationalized media's appeal comes from our innate desire for new and shiny things to stimulate our brains, and neuroscientists such as Adam Ghazali have speculated that seeking fresh information, not engaging in clear and uninterrupted conceptual thought, is how we were geared through evolution. Intuitively, this makes sense as we've evolved to constantly scan the environment around us for things that are changing. Constantly drawing attention to fresh stimuli allowed us to be aware of any threats, and find new areas where food might be readily available. When foraging for scarce food, we are also foraging for information, as it was more beneficial to our survival to look in new places for food rather than get diminishing marginal returns in the same place. Information in itself, as it emits dopamine, has evolved to be a reward for our brain. Focusing on one thing extensively and inhibiting others would be detrimental to finding food sources and saps the brain of valuable energy to use on other tasks. The brain already burns a fifth of our calories as is. If our ancestors burned, say, half of their valuable energy constantly engaging in deliberative thinking about the big other, they would likely not have the reproductive energy for us to exist as we do today. Distraction being natural to us perfectly explains why so many people find slow tasks such as reading a dense book or thinking about tax policy to be not as exciting as, say, watching an NBA game with slam dunks and crazy shots. But something being wired into us through millions of years of evolution does not necessarily imply that it is on balance good for us. And as natural as distraction may be, we must understand that Facebook, Google, Twitter, the biggest news publications, and countless other corporations know this, and take our distraction to another level. As the internet allows us instant access to most any information we could find, the economy of the internet is inherently an economy competing for attention, and because our own attention is so limited, our minds are filled to the brink with more stimulation than they could handle. Access to unlimited information may be great, but it certainly interferes with our ability to actually interpret the information. Elon Musk, who I'm sure you all know, has notably expressed desires for us to merge closer with computers with ventures such as Neuralink to first help treat neurological disorders, and then eventually optimize our own productivity and intellect. This again comes down to us trying to be competitive against increasingly disruptive artificial intelligence. And after all, our brains are wired much less efficiently than computers to store vast amounts of information and optimize production processes. Now, idealizing us merging with machines has both its benefits and drawbacks. The AI may strip away many of our cognitive limits, making us more in touch with information, sure. But despite our brains preferably being hardwired or programmed to think in certain ways, we are nowhere near as binary as computers and should not strive to be. Stepping away from the internet once in a while can certainly be a good thing for our health, sanity, and ability to reason. It's often the moments where we are less distracted that we are most at ease. As humans, we are fortunate enough to have incredibly fluid and plastic brains with great capacities to interpret nuance. We can feel emotions and form memories unique to ourselves. We experience qualia. Machines do not. Evidently, we are not computers. Yet. So instead of being shaped by expertly crafted algorithms meant to monetize our attention, let's use the internet to become more well-rounded people, to connect with those around the globe to shape the world to be a better place. Let's use the internet's information for our own good, not against ourselves. So yeah, I'm sure this video will just go swimmingly with the big tech platform that I'm uploading it on, and I'm also sure that it will be pushed all over trending just like a Mr. Beast video. I kid, but hopefully this video illustrated that the race for attention is not only Google or Facebook or TikTok. It's something that's ingrained into human behavior and, of course, the fabric of the internet. I also understand the irony of making a short-form video on YouTube talking about the internet and distraction. But I hope this video was at least a relatively useful way to spend your time. Judged by my analytics, only like 30% of you are probably even watching to this point anyways, if that. And if you are, liking and subscribing would of course be greatly appreciated. Alright, peace out y'all.